What is up, everybody? Welcome to YouTube or LinkedIn. We're going live. And I decided to go ahead and answer questions from this week. So, for those of you that don't know, I run a web class on wellness and well-being. It changes up every couple of months, but for the next month or two, we're doing a well-being class and burnout every Wednesday, 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. And I'm answering questions that got submitted while I was on and teaching the web class. We do it right here in my office. And yeah, so I'm going to answer questions. Some of these questions or some of the answers you may not understand just yet. So let me go through these quick ones. I offered people a 5-day leadership challenge that I'm going to be doing. People were asking, when's the start date? When's the start date? And so I guess they didn't pick that up. And so we are doing a 5-day leadership challenge starting Monday, the 14th. It will be the 14th through the 18th, 5 straight days. People wondering what time, same time as this, not this right now, but 10 a.m. For an hour. And if you're wanting the link on how to register for that 5-day challenge, you can DM me either on LinkedIn or on YouTube or on any other platform that you see this, and I will get you the link on how to dive into the 5-day leadership challenge starting the 14th of this month, and we'll do one a month, but this is the first one, and so that's answering that time and when. But here was one of the first questions I got asked. What if I ask, what does success look like to you, and I don't get much from them? So in the web class, to bring some people up to speed, I said the best way um, to get in your questions in, or get feedback, or get in alignment was, what does success look like for you? Because a lot of times there's misconceptions on expectations, and expectations get missed. And a lot of stress is done because people don't have the fuel in them for the distance that they're about to go. So we talked about stressors and burnout, that we burn out in 3 different ways: the distance, the height, and the weight. And a lot of those things can be alleviated if we just ask for expectations. What does success look like for you? So in this question, this looks like to me, yeah, bro, Juan, but what if I ask, what does success look like to you, to my boss? And they're like, just get the job done. Then we need to start asking more specific questions. I've learned from under John Maxwell that uh, good leaders ask good questions, but great leaders ask great questions. What does success look like to you? What is a due date? What does this project, what does finished look like? Juan, but what if they don't give me enough? I continue to ask, where on a scale of 1 to 10, what does this look like for you? Just getting very specific. Dates, locations. It depends on your time frame, but you want to be specific with your questions. That's one. Then I would run something by them, because we kind of all go by vision, and so we kind of think like, oh, I can see it happening this way. I can see. Let me run something by you. This is what it looks like to me. I would get this done at this date, at this time. Put it on your desk. Give it to the front desk. Give it to someone else. This is going to be, and I know I'm being a little bland here and very broad, but I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. What do you think? If you're still not getting much, you're going to have to, instead of learn on the front end, unfortunately, you're going to have to learn on the back end. If they have issues and problems with what was done, how it was done, and everything in between, take note. And this is your feedback. Take note. And so you're going to have to learn how this person likes things. If they're not giving it to you, it sucks to say, but you're going to have to learn the hard way. That was one. Let's go here. And some of these have numbers because I numbered them, and then I realized that I didn't number them too much after that. When do you feel the most drained? At work, at home, or in between? And what do you notice about yourself in those moments? I used to be stressed out at work when I was working for the nonprofit that I was working at. I think now I'm stressed out at home, because work is not too stressful for me because I work from home. So I'm always home. So for me, it's home. And what do you notice about yourself in those moments? And let me go into the whole in between thing. Like what in between, at home and everything in between. So my in between is like work from home, but home, the everyday stuff, trash, taking out the trash, laundry, dishes. Our house is lived in. Like there's messes every once in every certain spots. Like there's dishes that pile up. There's stuff on the counter. So that stresses me out. But what do? I have a choice I have a choice to complain and to make matters worse, or which it will make matters worse. But when I start to bring in a sense of grace and gratitude, it's not I have to do dishes. It's I get to do the dishes. I get to do laundry. And yes, people might be like, yeah, that's kind of corny one. But no, seriously, life can be worse. It could be worse. It could be bad. And so my stresses come from some of the little things there, but some of my other stresses come from being a dad or being a husband. We're not going to get along all the time as husband and wife. We get along quite a bit, but there's some hiccups along the way, especially with my boys being teenagers. So I have a 17-year-old, a 15-year-old who's going to be 16, and a 12-year-old going to be 13. And so we're all through these levels of adolescence. One is trying to get their driver's license, and they have the permit and they're driving. Somebody else is trying to do the online school so that they can take the driving course to get their permit. And the other one wants to do everything and anything between. And so there's a lot of times where I like to tell people, do it ugly. Do it ugly first. So when I get frustrated, yeah, I'm like, bro, why can't you freaking clean up your room? And there might be some other words in there, but I'm saying it in my head or in my room or when I'm alone, like get it out. That's part of burnout is storing it up, stacking it up, and letting it fester. And then we pop. And then we start saying things that we don't want to say. And we start doing things that we don't want to do. And we start to be the ugly version of ourselves. I say, do it ugly first, not to the person, not at the person, but how do we go about saying those things that we want to say in a safe place? Because we can't let stuff stack up, stack up, stack up, stack up. Because if we sweep it under the rug, I've said this before, if you've heard me say it or not, and I got it from a buddy named Michael Jr., if you continue to sweep stuff under the rug, you're going to end up tripping. And people are going to wonder why you be tripping, and why you're going to wonder why you tripping. It's because you keep on sweeping stuff under the rug. So what I notice about myself in the moments is I notice that I'm starting to like get a little ticked off, and I will go to a safe spot to say something, like to say it out loud, to get it out ugly. Again, I work from home. So if I'm going to the restroom, or I'm going to put stuff away and I have to go past my boys' room and I see how dirty their room is, I have the flexibility and the privilege of saying it ugly out loud because they're not around. Maybe I grab some coffee, I go outside. But here's the thing: you don't walk away, do it ugly, and then don't do anything about it. I sit down and I have those difficult conversations, and that's another class that I do about having difficult conversations. But what I notice about myself, if I'm being truly honest, is because I'm constantly working on myself and I'm constantly critiquing myself for the better. I've learned that I don't pop off at the mouth when like I used to, or as long as I used to. I bite my tongue a little bit sooner. I'm able to walk away. But here's the big thing: I want to address it because I want to grow that side of me, and I want to grow the relationship. And so that's what it is for me. What's one thing you stopped doing for yourself that you wish you could bring back? I would say that I did. It's already brought back, if I could say that. But I stopped working out, and I stopped taking working out seriously. I used to be pretty, I would say, pretty muscular, and then I started getting like my dad bod, and so now I'm playing catch up. I'm getting older. I'm 40. Shoot, how old am I? Am I 42? Am I 43? I'm 43. Dang. Wow, I had a moment. I'm getting old. And now, like when I'm working out, I'm like, I'm winded, and I'm like, I don't want to be winded. I mess around with my boys, wrestling around with them, or we go to the park and we play, and I get a little winded. I'm like, I don't want to be like this. So, I've been working out a lot more, but I'm still winded. I don't do a whole lot of like cardio stuff, and so that I need to do that. So I wish I would have never fell off, if you will, because now I'm playing catch up, and that's a great stress relief. Go do something. Go hit something. Not your spouse, not your kids, not a friend, not a stranger. sign up for jujitsu, boxing, lift weights. I think that's a great way to let out some stress. That's very, very healthy. Next, how are your boundaries being respected or ignored by others in your life right now? I'm really good about setting boundaries, because if you don't have boundaries, it's chaotic. We talked about that in the class. Boundaries are huge. Boundaries aren't bad. Boundaries are good. Boundaries say you can do everything and anything you want in here. I think when people think about boundaries, they think, I can't do this, I can't do that. So I'll give you an example. When people go on diets, I can't have pizza, right? It's everything outside of the boundaries. You can't have pizza. I can't eat burgers. I can't have fries. Yeah, you can. Like, I go to In-N-Out, for those people who know what In-N-Out is. That's inside my boundaries. You think I can't have In-N-Out? Yeah, I get it protein style, animal style, protein style, no bun. I don't need the bun, and it's still just as good. I might have a soda. I know that I'm trying to cut back on it, but because I don't have soda often, I'll treat myself to a soda every once in a while. Boundaries, limitations within limits and in moderation. So the boundaries is like, you can do all this stuff in here. Stop talking about the stuff that you can do out here. So boundaries for me, I pick and choose my battles. There might be somebody that gives me a look, says something that's negative, disrespectful, and it might be disrespectful, right, to me. I can say something, but if it's a stranger, someone that I don't know, I don't really care about, like, I'm not gonna allow that to break me. So about being I will address the stuff if I'm being disrespected or ignored, but if they have nothing to do with me, there's no issues, problem, and I'm gonna hurt myself more by addressing it with, like, a total stranger, there's no need. Like, somebody flips me off, right? My wife and I have, well, it's her car, but we drive a Tesla, and with everything going on in the world right now, if somebody was to flip us off because we're driving a Tesla, okay, bro, you're not mad at me, you're mad at somebody else. Pick and choose your battles. Pick and choose your battles. And there's people who do that, like, and to me, that's toxic. You watch the news and you get so riled up about people that you have no control over, and they have no real control over you. Like, relax. You know what's going to happen if Republicans stay in power? Not a whole lot. You know what's going to happen if Democrats get back in power? Not a whole lot. You know what's going to happen if tariffs keep on happening? Not a whole lot. And people can argue that, but there's always been tariffs. There's always been trade wars. There's always been bad presidents. There's always been something wrong with somebody. There's always been a lie. There's always been some misconceptions. There's always been. Jim Rohn says what I just said. What's going to happen? He says it. What's going to happen if Republicans are still in office? Not much. That's what he talks. What happens if Democrats stay in power? Not much. It's so true. Pick and choose your battles. For those people that do have a connection to your boundaries, they might disrespect them, respect them, or whatever, or ignore them. In this case, difficult conversations. We need to go from difficult conversations to courageous conversations. Have those conversations. As hard as it is, you are hurting yourself by not having them, and you're hurting yourself more. You will hurt yourself more by not having those difficult conversations than having them. And so, yeah, that's that. Let's go. How do I know if I'm actually burned out or just tired or unmotivated? Ooh, good question. So burnout means, for me, again, you've run out of gas, right? You need to fuel up. You want to quit. You're gonna pop off, right? Um, unmotivated or tired, sometimes you need rest. If you actually think, well, I've been up for 15 hours, I didn't get much sleep, there's bags under your eyes, you are seriously falling asleep, maybe you need rest, right? And maybe you're tired. Unmotivated, dude, everybody's not motivated. I didn't even want it's right now, it's 3:40 in the afternoon. I still need a shower for the next thing that I need to do. My son is having a talent show tonight, and he's going to be doing an SNL skit out of all things. And I can't wait for that. Am I tired? Yes. Am I unmotivated to take the same t-shirt that I was wearing this morning? You're like, Juan, you're gross. No, like I work from home, relax. But I have dishes to do. Like I was just talking about, I have dishes to do. I have a lot to do. Nobody wants to do that stuff, but you know what? I can put music on and I can get motivated. So let's talk about motivation real quick. People ask, how do I get motivated? How do I motivate others who are not motivated? Um, as the team motivator, what if I'm not motivated? So everything in between. There is a such thing as secondhand motivation. Think about when you watch, for the old school people, Rocky, new school people, Creed, or Southpaw, one of my favorite boxing movies, Southpaw. A lot of cussing, some violence, a lot of cussing. But there's just something about a comeback story, right? And you watch it and you think you can take on the freaking world. You better not have a jump rope while you're watching the movie next to you, because you might just start jumping rope and you might just start boxing because you feel like you can take on the world. That's motivation. You listen to a Tony Robbins, a Eric Thomas. You listen to a music, it gets you going. Again, I'm going to put on music right now when I go clean. I'll probably do some dancing. I'll probably do some singing, and not on key because I'm not a singer. But I might do a little dance while I'm doing the dishes. Why? Because that's motivating. So create yourself an environment that brings motivation, whether it's a motivational speaker, motivational movie, motivational music. And it doesn't have to be like, you can do it, you're the best. Dun, 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 dun. Sometimes it's just music that, dang, I haven't heard this song in a really long time, right? So if you're burned out, you're probably not going to want to dance. And if you're tired, you're probably not going to want to dance. Maybe it's being unmotivated. But here's the thing: discipline. Discipline says, people say, oh, be consistent. Yes, consistency is a nice, pretty word, and consistency is good. To me, I like the word discipline a little bit more. Discipline is doing it when you don't want to, and doing it anyways. I don't want to go to the gym at 5 in the morning. You do it anyways. You do it tired. You do it scared. You do it angry. You do it happy. Discipline just says you do it and you create an intentional routine. There are unintentional routines, right? That aren't good for you. So bring yourself in a motivated state. Surround yourself with motivation so that you can get motivated. But then you have to act and you have to do. When you're burned out, you don't want to. You don't feel the value in your work. You don't feel the value in yourself. I can be unmotivated and tired and just want to lay on the couch and watch Netflix all day, or Prime Video, or whatever. But I still know that I have value. I still know that I bring value to my wife and to my kids. That if I get up and I get a phone call from a family member or friend or anyone that I haven't heard in a while, I'm going to answer the phone. I'm going to be happy. So unmotivated and tired, you can still be happy. You can still see those things. Burned out, you feel like a lump on the log. You feel undervalued. You don't even feel valued at all, right? So there's a difference. So take a checkbox. And we did a whole thing about burned out on the 5 essentials, and I added a sixth one: grade yourself. And those people who've seen this on the live or the replay, you don't know what those is, so take the class on Wednesday. I'll even see if I can put a link in the description for the web class. Next one, we got 2 more after this one. What can I do when I can't remove the stressor, like my job, my bills, or family responsibilities, or family members, right? You're like, I can't stand my husband, and yet he's sitting right here next to me. I can't stand my boss, but they're working. I have to work for them. What can I do when I can't remove the stressor? Remember your why. And it sounds so cheesy, but I'm not one of those cheesy speakers. It says, remember your why. WHY. Who or what hurts you? Who or what hinders you? And who or what helps you? WHY. When you can fill those things out, you start to understand. A buddy of mine, mentor of mine, I should say, Rory Vaden, says, you are, oh man, how does he say it? You are perfectly positioned to serve the person who you once were. So I do all this leadership stuff. I do all this burnout stuff and well-being stuff. And I'm actually speaking to the 8-year-old me, the 12-year-old me, the 16, 18, 21, 25, 30-year-old me. You look at people who are like family, marriage and family counselors, I can almost guarantee, not all the time, I can almost guarantee that someone close to them in their life had a jacked up family, maybe their own, or marriage, maybe their own. And they're doing it to fix internally and externally situations. They are perfectly positioned to serve the person who they once were. Teachers, sometimes a lot of teachers, not all teachers, but some teachers, have an issue or a really good experience with education. They want to become the teacher that they never had, or be the teacher that they had for other kids. You are perfectly designed and positioned to serve the person who you once were. So when you can find out your why, you start to think, dang, this person or this situation hurt me. And the reason why I didn't do anything is because this is what hindered me. But what helps me is X, Y, and oh, shoot, I understand my why. So really quick, and I do a whole training on this, but I'm an ex-military, right, veteran, ex-police officer, and had some stuff in my childhood. And I try to be the best parent, the best leader, the best and I teach leadership. Oh my gosh, the leaders in my life, my mom, my dad, teachers, police officers, they all didn't show up the way that they probably should have for the boy that they were overseeing. Oh my gosh, I teach leadership. I'm serving the person who I once was. I want to be that leader for that kid, for that adult, for that worker. Oh my gosh, right? So we find out the why, our why. So what do I do when I can't remove the stressor? Why am I here? With my bills, take care of them. Chunk your bills, not chuck them, chunk them. Like pay them little by little by little by little. And I can even talk to you about the whole financial thing. Um, your job. Find out where you find joy. This is why I like the Gallup Strengths Assessment. If you haven't taken the Gallup Strengths Assessment, email me and say, "Hey, Juan, I'm interested in the Gallup Strengths Assessment," and I will hook you up. Gallup Strengths, you get either your top 5 strengths or your full 34 strengths. And I'm not going to get into everything about that, but research, look up, Google, ChatGPT, whatever you want, Gallup Strengths Assessment. And when you can aim your strengths in what you do, you start to become a lot more purposeful, a lot more intentional, and you start to see the value in what you do a little bit more. And hopefully that helps. Same thing with family, and things like that. So there's that. Next, what's the difference between self-care and numbing out? Ooh, so I don't know if you've heard this term, numbing out. It's starting to become a buzzword if you haven't heard it. Numbing out, basically you numb yourself and you're just watching Netflix. Or, where's my phone? Where'd it go? Let me disconnect it. Doom scrolling. I'm supposed to do something. I'm supposed to address something. I'm supposed to clean something. I'm supposed to do something. And I'm just here and I'm numbing out. What's the difference between self-care and numbing out? Numbing out, so eating, emotionally eating, doom scrolling is not helping you. It's not helping you. To me, self-care helps you. So gym, working out, sauna, pool, relaxing, maybe a nap, talking to a counselor, a psychologist, meeting with friends. I'm not talking about meeting with friends and getting bloody drunk and forgetting everything. It's not anything numbing. It is, how do I care for myself? And sometimes it's talking to a friend, a family member, whatever it is. But self-care is always going to be helpful. Numbing out is hurtful. And it's hurtful because you're not addressing anything. Great question. How do I talk to my boss, family, or friend about how I'm feeling without sounding weak or dramatic? I think you're weak if you don't address it. And dramatic comes from your tone. Have you ever done this before or heard people do this? Oh my God, today was so bad. Today was so horrible. Stop talking like that, right? Gets me from 0 to 100 real quick. And just because you say stuff long and you string out your words and you stretch them out, doesn't make your day even longer, right? We do this. Oh my gosh, it was crazy. Even if you have a cool, deep voice. Oh my gosh, today was a horrible day. It was so bad and it was so long. I had 2 meetings that lasted 2.5 hours long. Then I had to go pick up my dry cleaning, and then I got a flat tire. And it took an hour for AAA to come, or it took me forever. I got grease all over my shirt. And so we stretch out our words and we talk about this, and bro, your day wasn't that long. You might have had a bad day, but how many of us had a bad moment that we turned into a bad day? So how do I talk to my family and friend about how I'm feeling without sounding weak or dramatic? Don't sound dramatic. State the facts. State the facts. And so what we do is we talk factual, right? Feedback should be factual, but sometimes like, hey, it's having that difficult conversation, right? Talk about that again, and stating what needs to be done. Hey, there's an issue. Hey, boss, you have a moment, or can I speak to you about for about 5 or 10 minutes? Set the standard. I know that we don't have a lot of time. I want to take 10 minutes of your time, talk to you about what happened yesterday. Uh, family. Uh, I talked to I said this to my wife the other day. Hey, is there anything I led by example. I said, is there anything in the house that you expect me to do that you're like, it's not my job because I'm your wife. It's not my job because I'm the wife. It's not my job because I'm the woman. It's not my job because I work all day, not in the house, but she works out of the house. My husband should do this. Is there anything that you feel that I should do? And I said, because I'm going to tell you something that I think that you should do. Because I don't want to do it. Like, is there anything that you don't want to do that you're like, man, I hope my husband does this because I really don't want to do this. And she was like, the outside stuff and the only inside stuff is like trash. Throw the trash out, but the outside stuff, like fix things that get broken, mow the lawn, trim the trees, sweep the pool, take the dog for a walk. It's the outside stuff. I could take care of the inside stuff except for the trash. That's a you job or the boys' job. All right, cool. She's like, what is it for me? And it sounds weird, but because she does a lot of the finances, I used to do the finances, but she's in charge of everything. Mail will start to stack up, and I'll be transparent. We have mail that is like just stacked. I said, I don't know what to keep. I don't know what to throw out. Of course, I know junk mail, but there's envelopes with stuff in it. I don't know. And it's medical stuff. Is that receipts? Do you need it? So if you go through it and you put it in a bag, I'll shred it. We have a shredder. I'll shred it. I just don't want to go through it and throw something out that I know that I'm not supposed to. And she's like, oh, no, that's fair. Um, But for me, at one point, that was a difficult conversation. You have to lead by example. Be the person who you want to how you want to be addressed. So address them that way. I talk about um, employees want the best boss, but are you being the best employee? Or for bosses, you want the best employee, but are you being the best boss? Lead by example. So set it out there. Hey, boss, can we talk about this? Something happened yesterday, and not it hurt my feelings because it might have, but something happened yesterday and I didn't appreciate how it came out and I wanted to bounce some ideas off you because here's the thing, you better come with solutions if you're going to give somebody a problem, right? So I understand and I take ownership of coming in late yesterday. The problem that I had is you or somebody else, whatever, I'm making this up, right? Called me out in front of like 2 or 3 other employees, and I felt that wasn't fair and it wasn't very professional. And so I'm okay with coming and addressing me with feedback, issues where I dropped the ball. I will own up to it. My ask is that we do that one-on-one, and I feel that that's fair, but some feedback. What do you think? And you allow the other person to talk, but you have to address it. So how do I talk to my boss or family, friends about how I'm feeling without sounding weak? I would say talk about I wouldn't talk about necessarily feelings. I would talk about what's factual, right? So if my son, if I'm pissed and I'm upset because my son said something negative to me or to my wife, and I was like, yo, bro, who in the hell are you talking to? Right? Do it ugly. That's what I'm talking about, right? I might have to walk away or say it under my breath, like, who in the hell does this guy think he is? But then I have to address it because I'm not going to tell it to his face. I think old school parents, my parents probably would have, but that's not how the way I parent. That's not the way I would address it. So I'm not going to go and say, you know what, you really made me upset when I found it disrespectful, the way your tone that you spoke with your mom or at me, and that cannot and will not happen. I'm okay with you being upset, but you're not going to talk at us. You will talk with us. Okay? So we need to fix those things. So like, yes, I'm addressing the feeling, but I'm not talking about the feeling. The problem, oh man, how does it go? The problem is not the problem. How you deal with the problem is the problem. Is that how it goes? It's is it Jack Sparrow that says this? Let me see if I can look this up real quick. Let me Google this. Because I want to get this quote right. I'm almost positive it's Jack Sparrow. The problem is not the problem. What is this? The problem is not the problem. The problem is your attitude about the problem. um And I would say it's something similar. Like if I'm having attitude about the tone, like what is the root? The root is not my feelings. The root is what was said and how it was said. Hey, that was disrespectful. So what is it? One other thing that I will say is when we talk about feelings, I'm going to end this right now. And I wonder if I can share this. Oh, I can share screen. So if we Google, and I know this psychologists use this and counselors use this, wheel of emotions, and hopefully this will help you out. PDF or chart. Let's see, is this a good one? Yeah, let's look at this one. And then I'm going to share my screen real quick, and then we're going to end this. Share screen. A wheel of emotion handout. Can I get back on my screen? Can I do this? Oh yeah, I can. Beautiful. Let's do this. Let's make me smaller. Boom. All right, and let me take this question out. So when I'm saying, like, I'm using the same example, right? If I'm pissed and upset, I might look like, okay, I'm angry, but angry kind of gets all this critical, distant, frustrated could be one, aggressive, mad, hateful, geez, threatened, hurt. Ooh, I would say frustrated or hurt. So if I go look at frustrated is infuriated and irritated. Ooh, irritated could be one, hurt, embarrassed, or devastated. I could say I was devastated. I was taken back at the tone that you had with your mom, and I was a little irritated, if I'm being honest, um, of the tone. But here's the thing. I was irritated with the tone, and I was devastated with the tone, but I was a little irritated, and here's where I'm going to take it a step further. I was a little irritated um, with you and with me. Like my first thought was, where does he think that it's okay to speak to his mom or his dad like that? And then this is what I say: I have to take, and here's a big leadership point. I have to take responsibility for myself, even if I had nothing to do with it. I have to take 1% from my son and say, what do I need to do to teach him, mold him better, so that's not even a thought anymore? How do I lead him? A staff comes in late all the time. They're driving, not you. They're driving. So you have nothing to do with it. However, how do I take 1% and say, where did I make it? Where did they come off thinking that it was okay to do that? What am I doing? What am I not teaching? How am I not mentoring? So how do I use that? And so when we do that, let me get this question back up. You could still talk about the situation, but we're not talking about feelings. Keep at work, keep feelings out of it. It should be factual. You can't come in late. It's policy, procedure. My job as, someone who's in charge is to hold a standard of policies and procedures, and you were late. And policies and procedures say that I'm supposed to write you up. So I have to do that. Yeah, it sucks, but I'm going to do that. If I continue to get written up, let me switch this. If I continue to get written up, and I feel it's unfair and I feel like I'm complaining, well, I got written up and so did this. Well, when you have the attitude of being dramatic and the tone of being dramatic, you're going to be dramatic. But if I'm speaking and saying, and I need to understand the job, so and so coming in late, so and so not getting written up is not your problem. It's you, like you stay in your lane. And you might just say, is there anything that we can do to fix this? I feel that it might be unfair, or I think it's unfair. Can I give some suggestions? Again, if you're going to come up with a problem, you better have solutions. So hopefully that makes sense. You can address something without sounding weak or dramatic. Again, I think if you don't address it, you're weak. I think if you sound dramatic and you start to pull things off and you start talking this way and dramatic feelings, I think we need to take feelings out of it. However, again, that PDF will kind of say, okay, looking for to express yourself a little bit better. But either way, having that difficult conversation, I think, is going to help out a lot. Hopefully, this was helpful. For anyone who wants it, DM me the word well-being, and I will message you back with how you can come to the Wednesday well-being / burnout. And it's one of those classes where it's not this take deep breaths in and let's journal, let's go to our happy spot. No, that's making you weaker, gonna burn you out even more. This is no gloves, fisticuffs. I'm gonna be straightforward. I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything. I'm gonna tell you how it is. And I think when we run away from issues and problems, we make ourselves weaker. We need to build capacity because life isn't fair. We're gonna get burned out, but I can you're able to handle a lot more now than you were able to handle 10, 15, 20 years ago. Why? Because we built capacity. And now we live in a society where people are like, no, you need to walk away and you need to come to your happy spot and breathe. No, it's making you weaker. Build capacity. Don't be weak. So, anyways, we've gone long enough, 35 minutes. I love you all. Thank you for sticking with me, and keep a lookout for the link to the well-being class on Wednesdays. And for those people who are interested in the 5-day challenge, you can DM me the word 5-day challenge, and I will send you information on that 5-day leadership challenge. But for everyone who came to the class, hope you like this replay for your questions, and I will see you on the next well-being on Wednesdays or at the 5-day challenge. Awesome. See ya.